Hello. So I wanted to show you some options for fields. I'm just going to try to break these into smaller bits because I want to do kind of three versions of this and you can choose which one. So the easiest version, go back, is to just, and you want to do this when you are totally done. I'm thinking for a second. Yep, I'm going to do super easy. So you can basically grab this page, make a copy of it, and then fill in the forms. So I'm just going to say Fred Flintstone. Maybe. Oh, dang it. Where's that? There. Fred. Up. Go up one. Go up one. More. Fred. The layers are, there we go. So I have to have Fred at the top because this rectangle, the fields are these rectangles. Kind of why layering your layers is a good thing. Okay, Fred Flintstone. I'm going to option drag and I'm going to say Fred at whatever, flintstone.com. And then a phone. Oh, yeah. That's silly. That's a name, not a phone number. I'm going to option drag this and I'm going to call it 555-123-4567. Cool. So now I have a page that is the duplicate of the page above it. And in prototype mode, I might make an empty button, like an invisible button. Yeah, I'm going to make an invisible button. So I'm back in design mode. I'm going to make a rectangle around this, and it's going to have a 0 fill. And so it's there, but it's not there. And then when I go, let's make sure it's in the right place. Where are you, rectangle? You're here. Okay. Yeah, on top. That's great. I'm going to go to prototype and I'm going to say, when you click on anything inside this rectangle, basically this rectangle, I want you to go to this page. And then you could do an animation. I'll go into more fancy stuff about that later. But then it feels like you have filled out your form. So now if we go to, let's see, there's a shortcut way of looking at just one page, which is it shift space? Yes. Shift space will bring up just whatever active page you're on. So you can kind of shortcut stuff. So let's try it. I'm going to click and it looks like I've filled out the form. And because I duplicated it after I had wired up these buttons, I should be able to go straight to the queue. So I feel like I filled it out, but I haven't. That is number one. Number two is, okay, let's see. Probably should have. I want to make a different page. I'm going to make this all crazy. Why are you? Okay, good. It's still wired. This is going to be wacky. I'm just going to try to get rid of everything. Is that the only thing that's attached to this? How is that possible? There we go. Bonk. Yeah, clicking the frame name as your friend. It's, okay, cool. So let's say I have this page. I'm actually going to make a component out of the form. So I'm going to select everything in the form, hopefully. Probably could have just clicked all that stuff in the layers instead of trying to do it manually. I don't need those buttons. I think I have everything. I'm going to take them somewhere else. I'll just put them here. I like to keep things in a frame where I keep all my components, but basically we're going to make a component. So I'm going to select it all. Let's be good. We'll put it in the component land place up here, just so I can be more organized. Cool. So here's my form. I need more space. More space. Oh, get out of my way. Okay, I'm gonna make it bigger. There we go. So this, which I would have been super smart to make a group first, but I'm in prototype, so I got to go back to design. And I'm going to select everything. And so we're in components. I want to make this one big group. So I'm going to right click or control click in the layer, and that will bring up this handy dandy little pop-up menu, and I can say create component. It is also Option Command K, which is one that you learn pretty quickly. Now this is a component, which means if I make any changes, it's similar to styles. So if I make any changes to this, they will be reflected in the other anywhere else that this component is copied to. You can tell that it's a master component because it has full diamonds. I'll show you what the empty diamonds look like. So I have one instance. I want to have a second instance. One will be empty and one will be full. So over in the right-hand side with my component selected, so it's all purple, I know it's a component, there is a little weird diamond with a plus in it. See that? That is add a variant. I think you can also right-click on the component, but we're going to do this, add component. It adds a second one. Now I can go in, woo! The top one, if we look over on the side here, they're calling it default, and then the bottom one is called variant 2. I actually want to just name this to get ahead of the curve, so I'm going to click on the whole component. Component 1 is its name. Over on the right-hand side, it shows up. I'm going to call it form fields. And then those are you can see the two values. There they are, default and variant. So why don't we call default will be empty. And boy, I'm a good typer. And this one will be filled. Cool. So click on empty, or filled is the bottom, empty is the top. Now we can go in and delete all of the stuff that's in the fields. Okay. And now we have two components, group and group. And basically, we're going to wire them together. So you can go to prototype, and we're going to wire the main component, not the copy of it. We haven't even made a copy yet. So I should have made more room between these, but I'm going to say if you click on this, go here. Did that work? It's like weird. Needs more space. There it goes. On click. Sure. Let's do dissolve for fun. Okay. Can I make this bigger? Yes. Right. So did that work? Did you work? Yeah. You can see a line. So strange. Why did it do that one? There it goes. Yeah. So it's just being weird. It's there. I believe it. Now I'm just going to make it so you can clear it if you want. It's not really necessary, but basically if you click on the filled out one, it will go back to the empty one on tap, dissolve back in. So let's test this first. I'm just going to make a tiny frame and use that little test tool. Now that it's a component, it's going to show up in our components library, which is in assets over here. So if I go to assets, it says I have 7 components created in here. I am on the prototype 1 page, so I can do the one specific to that page. And I called it form fields. So I can drag that in here. And now if we go back to files up here on the left, click on files, we can see that this thing that I am using is an empty diamond. It doesn't have the filled in things. And it is in this frame. I'm just going to call it test in case I get confused later. I'm going to click on test and then do shift space. That will open just this so I can test it. And I'm going to click on it and ta-da, there's our fields. Ta-da, they go away. So that's option number 2. Option number 3 is you can have a keyboard and do a little bit of this magic too. Some keyboards that you can find in the community files actually have working keyboards. They're a little harder to set up, but you could have a keyboard pop open, and then when you click anywhere on the keyboard, it will magically make your fields fill in, basically adding one step in between these two. So you click on this, it makes the keyboard pop up, and then after the keyboard goes away, this is what you see. And then if you go to the homepage of Figma, which it might be under your little Figma icon in the browser, I click on home, and then there's a little community tab up at the top. Yeah, so find the page that has community and click on it. And as you can see, I have this iOS keyboard thing that I found. Let's just refresh. And there's a little search box up at the top, and you can say, I just looked for iPad keyboard, and I found this handy dandy, keyboard. This actually is a thumbnail. We're going to have one for your app when you're done. This little preview, you can set that up. Anyway, so we're going to open this file. This person, this lovely person, has made this for everyone to share and use. Thank you, Oscar. So open in Figma, and I have way too many teams. Okay, so we want, here's the layers over here. I expanded this out because the names got really long. But there is a drag. There it is. The drag will let you expand it. So iPad keyboard, I'm going to open it up. There's a light keyboard and a dark keyboard. We'll do the light one. So it's somewhere in here. I'm just going to scroll over. 1219 keyboard light. That sounds good. Or 12.9. So here is the keyboard. If you just keep clicking, oh, I'm in prototype. That's why. I need to go back to design. You will eventually get to this layer, which is just the keyboard. Oh, actually, I don't even want the words. I just want that keyboard. So this is a component that we are making a copy of. It is an empty component, so it's just like a copy, but it does mean if this person changes it, which they won't, but if it's still linked, then ours will also change, which could be good or bad. They probably won't, though. Okay, so we're going to go back to our file, and here's where I had to mess up and try again. So you want to, I'm going to paste it. So Command V to paste. It can't be in another frame. We're going to make it an overlay. I want all this stuff out of my way. Go away, all this stuff. Go down there. Okay, that's a little better. We are going to make it an overlay, which means it needs to be in its own frame. It probably is, but it's such a weird name that I think I'm just going to put it in another frame. It won't hurt. It'll only help. So this frame I'm going to call keyboard overlay, and I can't type. Cool. Keyboard overlay. That is our frame. It doesn't live inside any other frame. That is pretty key because that's how I messed up last time. Okay, so now we're going to unwire this stuff. So I'm going to go back to prototype mode. This one has, really? Let me make sure. So empty state, layers really help. Empty state has, oh, there it is. When you tap on it, it goes to filled. I'm going to just click this little minus. It'll go away. I want to go to the filled one, and I want to empty this one, or delete this one too. So when I tap go to empty, go away, because now what I want to happen, I think I'm gonna have to redo that because we're gonna need it anyway. Anywho, we're gonna drag the empty one to this little frame, and we're gonna say on tap open overlay. So it's like a pop-up. And then we're going to use keyboard overlay. It popped right there because I gave it such a nice name, and it knows that this is selected. So if it's not showing up in the list, it probably needs to be in its own frame outside of all the other frames and have like a special name. So I choose that, and then I want to, I guess it'll be centered around this. So we'll keep it centered. I do want it closed if we click on it anywhere. I don't need a background. That's going to like put sort of like a opacity of gray over the background, kind of like you see with pop-ups. And sure, we'll just, oh wait, actually we want to move it in so that it kind of pops up from the bottom. Maybe we'll see how it looks. So move in, I'm going to click on the up arrow. So it will kind of pop in from the bottom. And then, yes, there's nothing there that we need. Cool. So I have that. So here's where I extra messed up last time. So we want, I'm going to go to interactions, overview, scrolling. Okay, so this guy, keyboard, interactions, on tap, open overlay. What I want is, okay, so when you tap it, this opens. When this gets tapped, I want it to, no. So I'm going to actually, I remember, I'm going to click on the frame. I'm going to say interactions. So in the prototype with the keyboard overlay frame, not the actual inside one, I'm going to say add an interaction. And when I tap on it, I want to close this overlay. And then let's see if I can do the tricky part. I want another interaction that will condition back navigate to let's try it. We're not really navigating to on tap navigate to dang it, I don't want to make a variable, so there's a way to do it where you make a variable. I'm trying to avoid that. Let's do it a cheater way. When you tap this, open the overlay, and let's add a second interaction. Or actually, let's click on tap. Inside tap, I want to add an interaction to tap, which is, we're going to click plus here. On tap also change to filled and animate, and we're going to maybe do smart animate, and we're going to say, is there a delay? I want to delay it. Maybe? Yeah. Okay, well, I'm just going to do this now because there's some more logic that would have to happen, and it's getting too complicated. Cool. So just like the second thing where we dragged it in here, this just updated to be what this one does. So it should be wired to open this overlay. Let's try it out. The overlay is actually bigger than the frame, which is going to be design. Open more. Okay. At least we have more space. Cool. Here's test. Back to don't really need to be here now. But anyway, prototype, and then shift space. We'll pop this open. This frame open. There we go. Click. Overlay pops up. The fields fill in. It's actually kind of okay if the overlay is on top of the fields. You wouldn't even know it. And then if you click on it, it goes away and your fields are filled out. Cool. So that is number 3, the easiest way to do number 3. And I probably would recommend it. So yeah, if it's in the middle, you don't even know. Shift space, click. I don't even know the fields are already filled out. And I click it and then wow, it's like magic. So, okay, cool. I'm going to chop out a big middle of this and I hope this was helpful. Bye.